episode 2 of finding the best Ceebu in Senegal, and we're just getting on the road, and we've already had to make a pit stop. We are outside the Jollof Chicken. We had to make a pit stop because Matt has an obsession with this Senegalese fast food chain. I don't really understand it. I was waiting for you to come out the door. God. It was 9 a.m., but I was fully expecting Matt to walk out the front door with a bucket of fried chicken. He threw a curveball and came out the side door with some ice cream bars that I pretended I didn't want.
I assumed you would be Steve too. Full marks do too. I got you that though.
What is this?
I don't know if I enjoy it.
A ginger snap?
Yeah.
Yeah, things were not going well at this point.
Have you had them before?
I've had a ginger snap in my life. Never from a Jollof Chicken filling station. Once we got into Dakar, Matt and I went our separate ways. Matt needed to get a haircut, and I needed to mail 56 postcards from Timbuktu. I got disoriented because I've outsourced all my navigational abilities to Google Maps. I eventually found my way and made it to the post office. The lovely ladies at the post office were not interested in being filmed, but everything went exceptionally well, and I made some new friends while drinking some Café Tuba. Matt had already finished with his haircut, and he was waiting for me at the Viking with an aperitif. I will, in fact, have a cold pression at 11 a.m. Thank you very much, Matthew. At a different time of day, the Viking could be considered a place of ill repute. But at 11 a.m., it's a great place to people watch and to get a sense for the energy of downtown Dakar. On this particular day, it was also a great place to get a coconut. After a few cold beers, it was time to find our Ceebu spot. There is a restaurant called Chez Ndioufa that was repeatedly recommended to us. At least one person said it was the best Ceebu in Dakar. If you don't know what Ceebu is, please go watch episode 1. Or stay right here and read what's on the screen, courtesy of UNESCO. I'm not bothered. We were lost once again, and Matt proposed that we go somewhere else for lunch. We're not going to Jollof Chicken 2 times in one day. Jesus Christ.
I didn't eat the chicken.
Matt wanted to go to Jollof Chicken. Again.
We're not going to frequent the establishment.
I insisted we press on to our Ceebu spot, and Matt reluctantly agreed. On Fridays, the central business district of Dakar shuts down for the afternoon prayer. Mats are spread out in the streets, and this bustling metropolis goes quiet, save for the call to prayer floating above the city. Très bon Ceebu.
Très bon Ceebu.
C'est vrai?
C'est vrai.
Ceebu nier.
Ceebu avec le bojeng son.
Ben le plat. Ceebu. Rouge.
Spaghetti pigeon.
Pigeon. The place had a festive wedding reception vibe, with an Angolan flag color scheme.
C'est étier ou bien c'est... Non, deux pigeons. Wow.
I wanted a normal-sized beer, and Gazelle is almost always served in a 66 centiliter bottle. So I ordered a flag, which almost always comes in a 33 centiliter bottle. Today, it was the opposite. Oh, merci. That definitely looks like a mistake to me.
You think? Have you never had pigeon before?
No, I've had pigeon before.
You didn't like pigeon? Look at that little leg.
Look at the neck.
Very tasty.
Yeah, it's like a few onions that were at one time in a yassa sauce maybe like 3 days ago. And then 3/4 of your plate is covered in, looks like overcooked spaghetti. And then pigeon, I don't know when that thing was cooked, but
Are you judging this restaurant?
No, because I think you just made a poor choice. This Ceebu was a fly perfectly posed on the citron. There's not a lot of contrast with the color. I love Ceebu for its complexity, and this one was missing many of the standard accoutrements that come with it. There's typically a sauce made with bisap leaves, a bit of tamarind, and often a small pile of crispy rice that has been scraped from the bottom of the pot. You can go back to episode 1 to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, there was none of that here. I'd be really happy with that if I was eating this in like the bus station in Tambacounda. This is not a ringing endorsement. Tambacounda is a transport hub 400 kilometers southeast of Dakar. The city is not known as a culinary capital, much less the bus station. Although, I have had some really good meals in bus stations. There's no way you can call it the best in Dakar. Looks like some very neglected pigeon over there.
Yeah. In all honesty, I should be next door. That's where I would have had lunch.
You're putting this on me.
I don't think that I wanted to eat chicken. I tried the pigeon, not impressed, but...
Lunch was underwhelming. For both of us. Unsurprisingly, Matt tried to blame this fiasco on my quest to find the best Ceebu in Senegal. He would have preferred to have eaten next door at Chez Ndioufa, a Cap Verdean Senegalese restaurant that we regularly patronize. The Ceebu at Chez Ndioufa is much better, but I just want to say for the record that Matt was leading the way, and I followed him into this restaurant. After the afternoon prayer, the traffic had picked up and we couldn't find Moj. At this point, I was on track to be nearly an hour late for my dermatology appointment.
You know, baobab has more calcium than milk.
I quite like it.
I love it. Hello? Wait, take quel côté?
I had finally located Moj, but now we were delayed once more because Matt had made a new friend.
We have to go.
But Moj drove at light speed, dodging traffic and the gendarmes, and I was only 15 minutes late to my appointment. Speaking of the appointment, it went kind of poorly. I don't really know what happened in that appointment right now. Things that were not cancer are all of a sudden cancer, and things that we were actually worried about have disappeared. And I was told to take CBD oil and ashwagandha, so I don't really know what to think right now. Matt said he found some kind of campsite situated on the Bay of Han. They had cold beer and our friend Nick was on the way. That was enough for me. This time, I was lost because of Google Maps. In the 1960s, the Bay of Han was lined with white sand beaches and was often compared to Copacabana in Rio. These days, there are chemical plants, factories, and a slaughterhouse, all feeding wastewater into the bay. A substantial cleanup effort was launched in 2020 under the leadership of local activists like Mbake Sek. Considerable work remains if the Bay of Han is to return to its once pristine state, but progress has been made. I finally found the entrance to the campsite. Overland vehicles, motorcycles, and some neglected boats were strewn around the property. Matt and Nick were sitting under some palm trees with a view of a beachside football game and the Bay of Han. I wanted to capture a candid moment of conversation between Matt and Nick, but Nick, being a normal human being, wanted to stand up and greet me. It seems the performance of content creation is not always, or never, compatible with real life. That's what they call poulet bicyclette.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't have the same.
Running chicken.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not prepared the same way as it is in Burkina Faso.
In its time, that was a very fit chicken.
They call me poulet bicyclette sometimes.
Did Dr. Rice call you that?
All you carry is your hydration pack with maybe a change of underpants and money, and walk to Dakar.
No, I love this idea. We had had a few of these at this point, and we were talking about going on a 90-kilometer walk.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Kind of no nonsense.
The sun was starting to set. It was time to go home. Or was it? It turns out Matt had secretly bribed Moj to take us to a jollof chicken. I would love to say I also boycotted round 2 of jollof chicken, if only to spite Matt, but I had not eaten much for lunch and only had a few peanuts at the campsite. I was fully prepared to eat my jollof chicken and then to carry on about how much I disliked it for the full duration of the 1.5-hour car ride we had in front of us.
Mixed.
I didn't find the best Ceebu in Senegal on this trip. Lunch was disappointing. Despite that, and a confusing 45 minutes at the dermatologist, and a hangover the next day, I have no regrets. I made some new friends at the post office. We found a seedy but charming campsite next to the Bay of Han. We got to see our friend Nick. And we ate some delicious fried chicken. Yes, I was wrong about jollof chicken. Chapeau, Matthew.
That is a delight.
Huh?
A delight.
It's ready for the trip home. Best taxi food ever.
Sueño con mi vieja